Bud versus Porter.
Bud versus Porter. The lightweight division is jumping. I mean, anybody is fighting in the second half of the year, except for Ryan Garcia. But anyway, we're gonna talk about that. I think Canelo has said enough on that subject. Right. But man, what do you think? Like, is it gonna set up a big 2022? Because it looks like a lot of things are in the works of getting made, right? You see Haney and his comments about one going to 140. You see, Tank said he was cracking at 140. So, there's these matchups where people are like, okay, we've seen you fight this guy, seen you fight that guy. What about y'all? And so after a while, these fights, they're going to have to get into the ring with each other. How do you think these fights set up, these big 2021 fights to finish the year? How do you think they set up the year 2022?
Man, I think a lot of these fights are definitely setting up major bouts that should transpire in 2022. The first talk about, the lightweights. Like you said, you got T.O. versus Kambosos. Then I believe back-to-back nights, man. Like you said, we got Haney, Jojo Diaz, and then you got Tank versus Isaac Cruz. So you got those three right there. Like you said, Ryan is missing somewhere.
Yeah.
But without a doubt, I would figure that within a span of 1 or 2 weeks, those three top dudes all have bouts. So after that transpires, somebody needs to be mixing and mingling to set up a major bout in 2022, which right now, like you said, again, it sounded like Haney and Teofimo Lopez seem like they're really about that smoke with each other, but we'll see when it comes time.
Yeah.
Now, go ahead.
No, yeah, and that's a big thing too. It's been there's been a lot of Twitter action in the lightweight division.
Twitter fingers.
And not enough, ring
real
action.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll see what happens. But go ahead, man.
And then also, let's take it another step, and you have a Bud Crawford versus Sean Porter. By my estimation, if I had to make a prediction right now, I think Errol Spence moves up or he targets Ugas. He figures out some way to get that Ugas fight. But I think after the Bud versus Porter fight, the big fight we get in the spring is that other young Clearwater native who's over here low-key chilling with his feet kicked up. Yeah. Who everybody's wondering, where is Keith one-time Thurman?
Hey.
And I think it sets up for a huge fight with another step up for Bud going against Keith Thurman in the spring. So I think that's another one with that fight is setting up that major fight next year.
I will say this, and I'll say this, and I had my feelings about this back in 2018 or whatnot, when I think it was Keith Thurman finally came back, and was it Josecito Lopez he fought when he came back?
Yeah, I believe it was Josecito Lopez.
And he looked, he dominated, but it was like everybody's like, eh. And then I said to you, if Pacquiao's going to beat him, he has to fight him. He has to be the next fight. Mm-hmm. And I thought Thurman is playing right into Pacquiao's hands. If he fights him right after that fight, it's not going to end well. Like, even though it was a close fight, Pacquiao pulled it out, right? And I will say he needs to be in the ring at least one good time before he go ahead and hop into that fire with
Bud Crawford, right?
Porter, yeah. So, I'm excited to see really how all the cards just play out. There's really no more stalling. There's, thank God it looks like COVID's receding, and 2022 will be more of a year that restores normalcy. Everybody's kind of already trending there. Some of us have already been there if your name is Aaron Rodgers, but yeah, it's really no excuse for these big matches. I think 2022 is going to be a heck of a year. Fury returns. We're gonna get Usyk, Joshua, Jared Anderson. He also has a fight. I think it's on the Loma Comey card. So he's going to finish out the year, and he should be back. And at some point, he's going to be stepping up competition. Andy Ruiz is going to be back. There's talk about him and Deontay Wilder. And so we're going to see, I think, a 2022 that's a throwback, right? Where Go ahead.
Yeah, and I'll throw this in there too, boxing fans. I want y'all to know that this Saturday night, a sneaky good fight.
Oh
is gonna
yeah.
be Jaime Munguia versus Gabe Rosado.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be.
And I mentioned that fight because not only does that fight have the potential to be another Fight of the Year candidate, but let's say Jaime Munguia. A lot of people forget when Jaime was first up on the come up and he was a young buck. Everybody was trying to rush him into a fight with Triple G.
Triple G, yep.
Everybody like, nah, he don't want that. Nah, let Jaime Munguia slowly roll his way up. And so if he wins that fight on Saturday, and then you have Triple G finally making his return, I believe over in Japan, I think right before the new year.
Yep.
Everybody keep your eyes on finally seeing, because Canelo not giving him the trilogy. I'm sorry. He ain't.
Yeah, there was rumors about that.
Yeah, he ain't giving the trilogy. But everybody keep your eyes set on, in the spring, a major showdown between Triple G versus Jaime Munguia.
Yeah, that's, Jaime Munguia, he got his title off of Saddam Ali, I think was his first title. Completely wiped Buddy out. And if it wasn't his first title, it was his first major opponent. Saddam Ali, I think, just came off a victory, a retirement fight for Miguel Cotto, and he blew that guy out the water. So Jaime Munguia is definitely not a young fighter that you should overlook, man. Big power, big chin, very, very much the Mexican style fighter, which always gives exciting fights. So, and speaking of, let's not, I don't want to end off without really giving Canelo his flowers, man. We talk, but we ask the tough questions that should be asked. Nobody likes drug cheats, and we're not saying that's exactly what I want to know. I'm like, what's your secret, man? What's your secret?
So, and all I'm saying again, salute to, because I still like Canelo Alvarez as a fighter. I do believe he's
talented, uber talented.
I'm just again, this is to any fan, because I know y'all out there, y'all.
Oh man, you know how many thumbs down we gonna get?
You know what I mean? I know y'all out there, y'all lurking, because I know they defend Canelo at all costs.
Yep.
But my simple question that I have to you is, JD of Boxing Vibes TV. Before you drop that, make sure you in the comment section you explain yourself as to what other fighter this quick, only a couple years later, could test positive for steroids and be top pound for pound, and that's all.
And just be knocking people out.
Right,
but exactly. You know what? Let us stop criticizing, man. He's, like I said earlier, Canelo never disappoints. We love Canelo. Y'all might not always like us, but hopefully y'all love us.
Like we love y'all.
This is Boxing Vibes TV, man. And shout out to the boy Superman Q out there grinding. He'll be back with us. We'll be back in full effect, giving you the best boxing analysis on YouTube, Spotify, Stitcher, you name it. We do that.
We
out of here.